Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. Donald Trump won the CPAC poll by 40 points ahead of the second place challenger DeSantis. Over 40 points. He is far and away the most popular Republican. There is nobody even close to Donald Trump. The only people who despise him are Democrats, independents, and especially obviously Republican or conservative vote. I'm not a Republican. I'm not registered Republican. I'm an independent. I used to be a Democrat my whole life up until 3, 4 or 5 years ago. So and you look and you have to ask, well, what makes a person like me? I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders was most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Well, how did I become a supporter of Donald Trump or support a supporter of his policies? Okay, I like Trump, not for the reasons Democrats despise him. Again, this is a very important sentiment or statement or fact or reality. People vote for Trump, not because of the reasons that Democrats conjure up or media fantasizes or creates to disparage Trump. His policies worked. We had record low poverty in 2019. And he is the antithesis of Lincoln Project foreign policy, or he's the opposite. He opposes never-ending military conflict. That's how you go from Bernie Sanders to Trump. We had record low poverty. And in 2019, we had record low poverty. Fact, we had the record high in household median incomes. People, if you want to talk about economic justice, and all of these ideologies are this value system on the left, that they allegedly have. People were doing better every demographic group. If you want to talk about words like I don't use these words, but this is the Democratic Party or morally superior liberals and progressives, marginalized or groups that stuck in poverty, that everybody was doing better. Every demographic group was doing better. Every demographic group was doing better under Trump. Fact. Household median incomes highest ever. Real wages were up. Real wages are down because inflation is over 6 to 7%. Far worse, for specific items like specific food items, food inflation is through the roof. You will eventually have energy prices go up and then food will go up even more. And then you'll have overall inflation continue to go up. It's going back up. The Inflation Reduction Act didn't work. But in terms of the economy, we were doing much better. So you vote for Trump, you choose Trump, it's a moral imperative. What does that mean? Does anyone even understand that phrase? Who despises Trump or DeSantis? Who thinks that he's an authoritarian? The people who think that Trump is an authoritarian, you think they take a moment to say, oh, we're closer than ever to nuclear annihilation? They never do that. But anyway, getting to the point of this segment for 4 minutes and 30 seconds in the sand. This is the only option for vice presidents. Okay. Pence was picked in 2015 to 2016. He was picked because of the Republican Party was still a different representative. Republican Party. Trump took it over. It took him 4 years to really kick out the never Trump heirs. And it was a different Republican Party. Okay. This Republican Party DeSantis appeals to people like myself. I like DeSantis, but I'm not going to vote for him over Trump. Any appeals to the never Trump heirs, or people who don't really love Trump like Trump, but they like DeSantis. So DeSantis has the name recognition. That's also the main thing. He's second in line, okay, to the throne, so to speak, but he's also very good, too. He's very good with media and they really can't stop him in turn. They can't do what they do, usually to Republicans. Okay. A person like Kinzinger or Cheney needs media. Mitt Romney needs media. Paul Ryan needs me to the populace. Trump Republican like DeSantis or Matt Gaetz or Boebert, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, they don't need media. They don't need media. AOC needs Biden. They all need media. And some significant news, suspected illegal immigrants killed bald eagle and federal officials do nothing about it. 200 nationals cited for killing a bald eagle on private property in Nebraska. We're intending to eat it. Nebraska Stanton County Sheriff's Office reported killing a bald eagle. The country's national bird violates the 1940 Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, a federal law with a maximum punishment of 1 year in prison. Quote, I'm very frustrated with the federal government. The county sheriff Mike Unger said under his attempts to connect with authorities who could jail the men under federal laws have gone completely unanswered. Ramiro Hernandez Sicon and Domingo was a Tino Hernandez, both age 20, quote, had shots and killed the protected national bird and stated they planned on cooking and eating the bird. According to a press release, the pair shot the bird with an assault-style air rifle. The sheriff said the office declined to release photos of the creature due to the graphic nature of the images. Though the Nebraska officials charged the parents, that charge is however a misdemeanor and they cannot be held in jail until their trial on March 28. Until then, they walk free. In addition, police officers are not permitted to ask about the suspect's immigration status. Officers use a translation app to communicate with the suspects during the apprehension. It was unclear whether the men knew that killing the bird was illegal. Nebraska Game and Parks took custody of the eagle and the rifle used to kill it. According to the sheriff's press release, Sheriff Enders' attempts to contact federal authorities who could jail as suspects have fallen on deaf ears. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance said the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's hesitant to prosecute the men is, quote, a metaphor for America. And 2023 Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, quote, a metaphor of what's happening to America. If an American citizen did this even by accident, it would be an instant prosecution with severe consequences. But because they're illegals, they're protected and therefore immune to consequences or accountability. Treasury to testify on Friday for withholding Biden family suspicious wire transfers. The Treasury Department will testify before the House Oversight Committee on Friday about its withholding of 150 suspicious activity reports. SARs generated by the Biden family and their associates by unusual foreign or high-dollar transactions. The Treasury's Jonathan C. Davidson, Assistant Secretary for Legislative Affairs, will testify before the committee about why the agency has refused to provide the SAR, which often contain evidence of potential criminal activities such as money laundering and fraud. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer is investigating James and Hunter Biden along with Eric Schwerin for 9 violations including wire fraud and money laundering. During its investigations, the Treasury has tried to stonewall Congress requests for the SAR because the reports are a key trove of information that will provide details about the along with knowledge of whether Joe Biden remains compromised by foreign governments through his family's businesses. Congress stated on Saturday in a press release that he intends to also examine legislative solutions to ensure Congress has timely access to the SAR as, quote, we are concerned the Treasury Department is acting in bad faith to produce these documents to the Oversight Committee when we know that it has already produced them to another congressional office. Comer wrote he continues, quotes, at next week's hearing the Treasury Department official can explain to Congress and the American people why the department is hiding critical information. In January, Davidson denied the committee's requests for 150 SAR as flagged by U.S. banks, citing, quote, improper disclosure of relevant information that can reduce the Biden administration's ability to conduct of law enforcement, intelligence and national security activities. While the Treasury stonewalls Comer, the Biden family as top financial lieutenant Eric Schwerin is expected to soon provide requested documents to the committee. Schwerin, who shared bank accounts with Joe Biden and dubbed the family's moneyman, was also the president of Rosemont Seneca Partners, a fund created by Hunter Biden and several associates that spawned business deals in Russia, Ukraine, China and Romania. Schwerin's potential compliance with the committee comes after Hunter plotted in 2019 to betray him and their crumbling relationship upon and off the books business arrangement, which text messages discovered on Hunter's laptop reveal. 880 migrants found dead by Border Patrol agents in fiscal year 2022. While the number 880 is stunning, the number of deaths reflected in the Data and a Freedom of Information Act request includes only those recoveries reported by the patrol agents. That number is likely to be significantly lower than the actual count of deceased migrants, as it does not include migrant remains recovered by Mexican authorities, or those recovered by authorities away from the border. The majority of migrant deaths are recorded in the South Central Regional Texas. Deceased migrant discoveries in the Del Rio sector of the Border Patrol were highest at 255, followed by the Rio Grande Valley sector at 210. Quote, unfortunately, these deaths are a consequence of the government's policies that created the massive influx of people crossing the border illegally into Texas, said Brooks County Sheriff Benny Martinez. He continues, quote, we continue to see a record number of body recoveries in our county. The staggering migrant deaths in 2022 led to a United Nations declaration, calling the U.S.-Mexico border the deadliest land and border crossing for migrants in the entire world. The 180 deaths reported last year shatter the record that was established just 1 year earlier when Border Patrol reports revealed the recovered bodies or remains of 568 migrants in 2021. This is a 54.9% increase over 1 year. Fiscal year 2021 began in October of 2020 and includes the first 8 months of the Biden administration. The total of these 2 years, 1448, exceeds a total of the 4 prior years covered by the Trump administration. Migrant deaths come in a wide variety of circumstances. The largest cause of death comes from exposure to heat, and Border Patrol statistics reveal the second largest category as water-related deaths from migrants drowning while attempting to cross the border. This is followed by the deaths of migrants and vehicles operated by human smugglers. Alexander Vindman pitched $12 million scheme to profit off of Ukraine's war funds. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman on Friday appeared to confirm a report that said he is pitching a defense contract to the Ukrainian government to the tune of $12 million, which would likely come from U.S. taxpayers to operate and repair military equipment being used in the war. Vindman tweeted, quotes, "Thanks for the advertisement. I'm trying to get logistics in place to help Ukraine win the war and secure America, looking for philanthropic contributions to get it going. Reach out if you support the cause of democracy and U.S. national security #Faster Project." On Thursday, Human Events staff reported and obtained documents showing that in August of last year, Vindman, operating as CEO of Trident Support, gave a presentation to Ukraine on a quote Ukraine Weapons Systems Sustainment Center to help the country address problems with repairing and maintaining the equipment that is poured into Ukraine from the West since Russia invaded in February of last year. Vindman proposed to Ukraine an initial funding tab of $12 million to act as a quote middleman between NATO weapons and Ukrainian forces. According to Human Events, this company would teach Ukrainian forces how to operate and repair the equipment. Trainers would be highly experienced former soldiers or contractors in Iraq and/or Afghanistan. Potential locations for this midpoint would be Poland, Slovakia, and Romania. If it were not possible to get it set up in Ukraine, the report said the presentation was revealed along with court documents showing a dispute over payments. Human Events reported Vindman, a Ukrainian immigrant to America, infamously worked with U.S. intelligence officials to launch an impeachment inquiry against then-President Donald Trump in 2019. While then men appeared to confirm his proposal to the Ukrainian government. He also raised the prospect of suing for defamation over the article. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. If you're up for it, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching.